Today was supposed to be a good day, but your boss popped his head into your office and says,
"You're fired. We're replacing you with an AI."
Understandably, your heart sinks. The labor market has been brutal lately. All you can think about is your mortgage and how are you going to feed your kids. In this video, I'm going to show you a next step that you probably have not considered. It's the way I see our whole world eventually going in the coming world that is dominated by AI. And it's not the dark dystopia that a lot of people make it out to be. I also don't think that it's going to be what Silicon Valley has been pitching either. Okay, but first, let's briefly talk about the thing that everyone always thinks of when somebody on YouTube talks about the day of AI, when we all lose our jobs. That's right, I want to talk to you about
universal basic income.
It's a theory that's been championed by Silicon Valley primarily as a way to fix the problem that tech bros create when we create new technology. New tech has always been a threat to the workforce. Back in the days of our grandparents, they were probably concerned about losing their jobs to, I don't know, a tractor or something, right? Here's the premise. I don't know if you can hear that. We've got a very strong thunderstorm going, and I now have both dogs in here, so if you get some background noise, I'm sorry. But here's the premise of universal basic income. If the machines are going to take all of our jobs, then the government needs to mandate some way to take money from the organizations that are using these AIs and redistribute it to everybody else so that we can afford the basic necessities of life. I understand why people like this idea, but let's take a minute, just a brief minute, to critically look at it, just in case, there's a possibility that Silicon Valley might have a bad idea. I sometimes can get a little bit of a different perspective about topics like this because I don't live in the Silicon Valley echo chamber. Let me explain my viewpoint on this with a story. Back in the 80s, a woman from a poor country decided to go to college in America. She has 80s hair and 80s glasses. Here's a disco ball. The 80s. Anyway, she met an American white guy, fell in love, got married, and then those people became my parents. Except my mom's not from another country. She's from a part of the United States where they have a universal basic income. It's called the Indian Reservation. People who live on the reservation have had UBI for centuries. It's contractually guaranteed to them by treaty with the United States of America. See this place right here? That could be your house under universal basic income. This is right up the road from my capitalist neighborhood here in New Mexico. These guys get a check from the government every month. Poverty eliminated. We did it. Now you might be thinking, okay, but they don't have a casino. If they had a casino, that would be kind of like having an AI that's your AI that has to contribute your salary or whatever the new thing is. Let's look at that. What would happen if the tribe had a casino? This is near where my mom is from. They have a casino, and as you can see, it looks almost identical to Silicon Valley. Doesn't it? Anyway, people say that we don't have any data about how universal basic income would work, and that's why we have to try it. Clearly, data exists. However, on this channel, we evaluate things based on logic and reason and not just based on emotions and opinions. And just using a sample of Native American tribes is not a representative sample of the United States, much less the entire planet. The city of Denver has also been doing some experiments with UBI. They've been using it to try to fix their homeless problem. That is also not a representative sample. In order to get an unbiased representative sample, we would have to, as a country, decide that it's a good idea to fund an experiment and just give a universal basic income to this many American people for a period of time. And those would have to be random people. So rich, poor, it doesn't matter. Just randomly selected people. This number comes from a formula. Anyway, regardless of whether or not UBI would work, I still just think it sucks. If you're watching this video, you probably also think that it would be a bad idea to rely on the people who just fired you to provide you with income. It's interesting because this UBI issue is actually really similar to the way people like me train algorithms to play games. Now, obviously, income and people not starving is not a game, but let's talk for 1 second about reinforcement learning here. Reinforcement learning is basically a battle between taking the reward with a known value or exploring a little more to see if there's a better solution or better move in the game. This is the classic explore exploit problem that has existed for ages. We could either take the UBI because it's a known value and we can be like, okay, I'll get this amount every month, or we can try this other thing that I think would be much better. We don't know how much that is. Here's the thing. I wholeheartedly and fundamentally believe that AI is going to bring us much better opportunities than we otherwise would have had, as long as we don't buy into that UBI bullshit. Let me tell you what Silicon Valley doesn't want you to know. There has never been a better time than right now to start a business. AI empowers entrepreneurship. You can now get much more work done on a daily basis than ever before. Sometimes with the help of AI, I can get a whole week's worth of work done in a day. And this empowers me to keep up with multiple revenue streams much better than I otherwise could have. Probably much better than I could have just 2 years ago, which obviously helps me put money into my pocket much faster than I could have 2 years ago. So I know a lot of people think that the AI helping you do more work is bad for the worker. But think about how much extra money you could make if you were doing your job and then 2 businesses on the side. Right? I am not a large company. Obviously, look at my subscriber count. But I can be more agile than a much larger company could, because I'm smaller. I don't have to ask 20 people permission before I do something. I just do it. That is the brilliance and the beauty of having a small business. It used to be that late stage capitalism was making it really difficult for any company to compete with the larger companies, but that is just no longer true because of AI. Instead of having thousands of employees, you could have thousands of AIs and not pay them a dime. And guess what? You could compete with a much larger company. This is a way that we can go back to the beginning of capitalism, when competition kept prices down. That is one of the reasons why inflation spikes up. Yes, printing money can cause inflation, but monopolistic business practices also cause inflation. If you're the only business in town that sells something, you get to set the price. And if you're a giant company and it's late stage capitalism, it's hard for small businesses to enter the space and compete with you. But because of AI, this is the best time in your lifetime to start a business, because you can now compete with that bigger company that you couldn't compete with before because of late stage capitalism. We could go back to a time in America where people could actually afford luxuries like shelter and food. Now I know what you're probably thinking.
I thought this was an AI channel, not a finance channel. This lady is just going on about business like she knows what she's doing.
So I've had several small businesses before, and I have actually sold one to a much bigger company. Even though I work at a larger firm now, I have had small businesses, and I operate several on the side of the business that I currently work at. And as a reward for watching this far in the video, I have a free gift for you. Since I have experience as an entrepreneur, I also have experience writing business plans that can get funding from either venture capitalists or loans from like the Small Business Association or a bank. And I have my template available for free for you to download off my website. If you scroll past all the stuff you gotta pay for, you can download these business plan templates for free. This template is a guide to everything I would do to leverage AI to start a small business if I had to start over right now. Now, those documents are going to be on my website for free forever because of today's sponsor, Jack Zurich AI Research Group. Full disclosure, they're my employer, but they have partnered with me to help me with my project of making custom AI affordable for small businesses and nonprofit organizations. And I am super happy to be part of their team, and I am super happy that they are helping me with this project. Let's go back to what I was saying just a few minutes ago about some of the problems that small businesses face right now. I am not going to ignore and neglect to tell you that, yes, 8 out of 10 businesses do fail. Okay, so now you're probably thinking,
This chick just admitted that she knows 8 out of 10 businesses fail. I'm unemployed and she wants me to start a business. Why am I still watching this video? This lady is insane.
but I think that this would be a nice way to at least give yourself a higher probability of being one of those 2 out of 10. This video is going to actually be part 1 of a series I plan to do here that will hopefully help businesses of really small or medium size with using AI to get ahead of their competitors. I'm hoping that I can help people accelerate the growth of their companies past the point where companies usually fail. Here are a few of the issues that I know small businesses probably would need to solve. Now, this is not a complete list, but these are some of the things I'm aware of that I hope to cover in future episodes of this series, and if you have any other needs, please comment them below. Being self-employed is expensive, and your paycheck isn't going to be a consistent amount every month. If you're in the United States, you have to pay for healthcare, which obviously isn't cheap, and there are other really expensive things in life that we just have to pay for. And in order to make that easier, it's nicer to know how much money we're gonna make that month. Right? You also have to figure out taxes. I'm not an accountant, and I definitely don't think it's a good idea to make a boring ass video about taxes. Small businesses are taxed out the yin yang. I will say that's definitely true, and you should start looking for an accountant. If you're having a trades-based business, you could need to optimize labor or machine time in order to make sure that you are the most profitable quickly and that you can take on the most jobs. You could have trouble with your marketing. You could use AI to look at consumer behavior trends, or if you're using a platform like Facebook or YouTube, you could use AI to figure out if your dollars are being well spent. Something that small businesses don't usually evaluate, which causes them to sometimes fail because they run out of money. There are other things that I mentioned in the worksheets that are available for you for free on my website, and I want to encourage you to take a month to fill it out. Once you download the business plan and fill it out, you might decide that you've got it all taken care of and you don't need anything else from me, and that is fine, that's perfect. But if you would like some help, you can book a consultation for free to see if there's something I can do to build you some sort of an algorithm that you can leverage to build your business in an accelerated manner. A link to download both of those files will be available in the description. Next month I will put out another video. Now here are some real life examples of ways that other businesses have used AI to get ahead of competitors.